So you've learned what design thinking is, how it starts with people, and why empathy is essential. Now it's time to bring that learning into something real, your design challenge. This challenge becomes the anchor for everything you do in this course. So let's make sure you know how to shape a great one and how to choose one that's meaningful. Design challenge is a clear, focused question that guides your creative process. It's not the same as a problem statement. Instead of saying, we need a better app, we ask, how might we help students manage their time in a meaningful, sustainable way? So let's pause there. Asking the right question is the key to impactful design. Helps you uncover what really matters before you decide what to make or how to fix it. The right question opens the door to creativity rather than closing it down. In design thinking, we do that by framing a how might we question. This is a simple phrase that sets a tone for everything that follows. So let's break that down. How signals that we're looking for possibilities. It invites exploration. Might keeps the question open. We're not saying we will, we're saying we could. And that's important because it creates space for testing and iteration. And these are important parts of the design process. We makes it a team effort. It reminds us that design is collaborative and the best ideas come from diverse perspectives. A strong how might we question doesn't assume an answer. It focuses on people and their needs, creating room for many possible solutions to emerge. It gives you direction without narrowing your path. Let's put a pin in that for the moment and focus on picking a design challenge. Great design challenges share a few key qualities. Keeping these in mind will help you stay focused on what really matters as you work through your design process. First, it's human-centered. Your challenge should focus on real people, their needs, their feelings, their goals, and their experiences. It's not just about fixing a system or improving a product. It's about understanding what people are going through and designing with empathy and care. It's open-ended. A good challenge doesn't point to a single, obvious solution. Instead, it leaves room for exploration. It invites many possible answers and encourages you to think creatively, test ideas, and learn along the way. It's actionable. Even though your challenge should be broad enough to inspire ideas, it also needs to be specific enough so that you can actually do something with it. You should be able to research it, talk to people, prototype, and test solutions with the time you have. When your challenge is human-centered, open-ended, and actionable, it becomes a powerful starting point. It gives you enough structure to stay grounded, but enough freedom to explore, take risks, and discover something new. So how do you come up with a good design challenge? We'll start by thinking about a real situation or a group of people you care about. It could be a community you're a part of, a problem you've noticed in daily life, or even something you've read that sparked your curiosity. Then ask yourself, what feels frustrating, confusing, or is just not working as well as it could? And who is impacted? And what might they need? Where's there room for improvement, connection, or even just change? Before you create your design challenge, take a moment to think about the people you want to help. So grab a sheet of paper and start jotting down your thoughts. Imagine a real person in a real situation, not just a category or a label, but someone with a story. Ask yourself, what might matter most to them? What could be frustrating or confusing or overwhelming their day? What do they hope for? What might they need? Don't worry about having the perfect answers, just start exploring. The goal isn't to jump to a solution, it's to step into someone else's shoes, to see what they see and what they feel. Because you're not just designing a thing, you're designing for someone's experience. Of course, that starts with empathy. Try shaping your question using the how might we format. Let's talk about that format. Most design challenges start with the phrase, how might we? How, remember, invites possibility. Might keeps it open and humble. And we reminds us it's a team sport. So let's try the structure. How might we, verb, target group, and what's the desired outcome? For example, let's say you're interested in education. You might ask, how might we help first-year college students feel a stronger sense of belonging? Maybe you're focused on sustainability. So maybe it's how might we make eco-friendly habits easier for families at home? So don't worry about getting it perfect. The goal is to find a question that's human-centered, open-ended, and meaningful to you. You'll refine it as you go. The most important part is to stay curious and keep the people that you're designing for at the center. So let's pause there and talk about being right or getting the right answer. One thing that many designers get tripped up on is the idea that the first thing we produce has to be perfect. I'm not just talking about new designers. Over the course of my career, I've watched many experienced designers, very talented designers, get frustrated trying to be perfect at the start. For less experienced designers, often there isn't enough trust in the process yet to understand that the process will help reveal the answer. So think about it. Whenever your design challenge, whatever it might be, how much do you really know about it? Let me ask it in a different way. We're going to spend the next few weeks digging into this challenge. How much do you really know about this challenge compared to what you might know a month from now? Not a lot, right? So how silly is it for you to believe that you should know the right answer right now? You haven't put pen to paper to define it. You haven't spoken to anyone with the context of trying to define the real problem. You haven't tried to develop a solution. The real challenge lies within all of those aspects of design. So those of you who are designers should already know this, but often we forget or don't even realize. And for those of you who are not in a traditional design field, note, I'm not saying that you're not designers, because you do make decisions and therefore you're a designer. For those of you who are not in a traditional design field, this is the magic of the design process. During the process, we become experts in the thing we're trying to solve. This should take a lot of the pressure off of being right, being perfect. Design is messy. You will be wrong. But it's in the being wrong that we find the right path. A good how might we question doesn't assume a solution. It doesn't lock you into one path or suggest there's a single right answer. Instead, it's an invitation to explore the problem more deeply, test ideas without fear of failure, or even to learn from the people you're designing for. I encourage you to stay curious, to listen closely, and be open to surprises. When a design challenge is framed in this way, it becomes less about solving something quickly, more about discovering what truly matters and how you might respond to it with care, creativity, and intention. As you shape your own design challenge, ask yourself, am I focusing on real human needs? Am I open to multiple solutions? Is my question clear, actionable, and inspiring? And remember, this question doesn't have to be perfect. You'll refine it as you go, especially after doing more empathy work. So, start with something that excites you, something real, because the best challenges, they come from the heart. Now it's your turn. Start drafting your challenge. Talk to others. Reflect on your empathy research. For this week's discussion, you'll share your design challenge and how might we form. Some examples might be, how might we help busy parents find time to connect with their children during the work week? We might ask, how might we make public transportation more welcoming for first-time riders? Another one might be, how might we reduce food waste in urban communities while supporting local families? As you're developing it, give us some background. Why are you choosing this challenge? What about it interests you? Do you have any familiarity with these topics? These are the sorts of things we're looking for. You'll also post your plan of who you're going to talk to and what you're going to do. But more on that in the next videos. And remember, a great design question doesn't solve the problem. It opens the door to possibility.